We're live.
Are we good? Yeah.
We're ready to go.
Yep.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm not calling us to order yet because we have a very important piece of business that we have to take care of before we begin. And we will be swearing in our new District 5 board member, Miss Donalyn Lorenzo. We have the Honorable Tony Mace here to swear you in and make sure that we're legal and ready to go. So Judge Mace, if you would like to take your normal spot, and Donalyn, if you would like to join Judge Mace to be sworn in. And then everybody will flock to take lots of pictures of you.
Good. You'll just pray here. Raise your right hand. I, Donalyn Lorenzo,
I, Donalyn Lorenzo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws
the Constitution and the laws
of the state of New Mexico,
of the state of New Mexico,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially this
of school board member
of school board member
or which I am about to enter
on which I am about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Mace, and welcome, Miss Lorenzo, to the Grant Cibola County School Board.
Hey. Your pen quit.
Oh, here.
I called it, Tony. It's blue.
Last board meeting came right out of.
Same thing.
My stolen pen.
Well, I told you could have it.
It's so bad at the courthouse, my pins say stolen from Judge Mace.
That's great.
We have certain vendors that we like to take their pins.
Just to be clear, they give them.
Yes, they have pencils.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
All right, welcome. Okay, now we can do the official stuff. I'll call us to order at 5:46 p.m. And if everyone will please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I
I salute the flag,
The state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendships among united cultures.
Mrs. Turley, roll call, ma'am.
Mr. Clausen,
Present.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Here.
Miss Lorenzo, Miss Salazar, Miss Lee.
Present. We do indeed have a quorum. And next up, we have adoption of the agenda. Board members, are there any changes to the agenda? And if so, what?
None.
Excellent. Superintendent Widener, is there a recommendation, sir?
Madam President, board members, I recommend that we approve tonight's agenda.
Board members, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Thank you. And a second? Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion. Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call. Ms. Turley, please.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Salazar,
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Now, board members, we have two sets of minutes because we had two meetings. The first set of minutes is for our regular board meeting on January 22nd. Are there any amendments to the minutes, and if so, what?
No.
Superintendent.
I recommend that we approve the minutes from January 22nd.
Excellent. Board members, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented for the January 22nd meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Mr. Clausen to approve the January 22nd minutes as presented. Discussion, board members? All right, hearing none, we shall proceed. Mrs. Turley.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo. Yes. Ms. Salazar.
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Now we have our January 29th special board meeting minutes. All right, Superintendent.
I recommend that we approve the minutes from the January 29th meeting.
Excellent. Board members, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented for the January 29th meeting?
So motion.
Thank you. A second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve minutes as presented for the special January 29th board meeting. Any discussion needed? All right, hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call, Ms. Turley.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo, Ms. Salazar, Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. First up, we have, just so the public knows, anytime a new board member is added to the board or if there's an election, we do have to do a reorganization of the board. I will read a little brief description of how we do this. I know we just did it a month ago, but we now have a new board member, so we get to do this again. At this time, we'll move to reorganization, which includes the election of board officers for the positions of president, vice president, and secretary. Each office will be taken one at a time. For each position, a board member may nominate another board member for the office. Another board member must second that nomination. I will then ask if there are any additional nominations for that position. When nominations are closed, we will vote. Voting will be conducted by a show of hands, and the votes will be counted and stated for the record. You may and should vote for yourself, as all votes count. The nominee receiving the majority of votes will be declared elected to that office. Once the president is elected, that individual will immediately assume the role of presiding officer and conduct the remaining elections. Are there any questions about this process? All right, we shall begin. Election of board president. May I have nominations for the office of board president?
I nominate Francie Lee to president.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Are there any additional nominations for the office of president? All right, hearing none, nominations are now closed. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of electing Francie Lee as board president, please raise your hand. Mrs. Turley, that's a unanimous vote. Thank you for this opportunity to serve you all again. Election of board vice president. We will now move to nominations for the office of vice president. I will nominate Walter Jaramillo for vice president. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for vice president at this time? Hearing none, we will now vote. All in favor of electing Walter Hadamio as board vice president, please again raise your hand. Once again, unanimous, Ms. Turley. Congratulations, Walter.
Thank you.
And finally, we will move to election of the board secretary. I will enter, no, I won't. I will nominate Courtney Clausen for secretary. If I may have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for secretary? All right, hearing none, we will now vote. All in favor of electing Mr. Courtney Clausen as board secretary, please raise your hand again. And once again, unanimous. Congratulations again, Mr. Clausen. Thank you. That concludes our board reorganization and election of officers. Next up, we have, oh, I skipped, my apologies, everybody. Citizens to address the board, ma'am. Do we have any citizens, Mrs. Turley?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. I got so excited to get us moving along. I skipped that. My apologies, everyone. There are no citizens to address the board this evening. All right. Board committees. This, Ms. Lorenzo is just I'm going to give you a brief little overview of board committees. We went a little bit more in depth at the first meeting. And so if you have any questions after this little overview that I'm going to give you, please, by all means, I'm happy to answer anything that I possibly can for you. Board committees under board policies B0200 and B0250. All authority of the board rests with the board acting as a public body. Individual board members have no authority to act independently, and committees do not act on behalf of the board. Any authority exercised by committees is advisory only, and all final decisions must be made by the full board in a duly noticed public meeting and recorded in the minutes. Committee structure and limitations. In accordance with board policy B1100, committee work of the board is typically conducted by the board sitting as a committee of the whole. The board does not maintain standing or permanent committees composed entirely of board members that would constitute a quorum. However, the board may establish temporary or ad hoc committees when appropriate for specific purposes. These committees are advisory only, serve for a defined purpose or time frame, and are dissolved once their work is complete or by board action. We discussed, Ms. Lorenzo, at the first meeting of the year that we thought continuity of board members sitting on their committees for 2 years would give probably the best help to advising the board as a whole and working in order to learn everything that's going on in those committees. But we do state that if a board member requests changing, needs to change, or can no longer serve that committee, they certainly just need to let us know, and we can always rework committees. But we're right now operating on 2 years for these committees. Again, I've stated already, these are advisory in nature, consistent with board policy B1200. Advisory committees are established based on recommendations, research, and facts. These recommendations are not binding. The superintendent is the chief executive officer of the district under policy B1050. or a designee will serve as an ex officio member of advisory committees and ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act, including notice agendas and minutes. What we determined, Mr. Widener and I had discussed at great length, the best 5 policies that would serve the board in addition to serving the district. And these align with, again, policy B 0200 are the Audit and Finance Advisory Committee, the Budget Advisory Committee. And again, all of these are in your packet. So you're welcome to look at the description of each of these. The Legislative Advisory Committee, Safety Advisory Committee, and Student Achievement and Instruction Advisory Committee. Originally, Ms. Salazar was on the Legislative Committee and Mr. Jaramillo was on the Safety Advisory Committee. And so, in order to keep things flowing, we would like to invite you to join the Legislative Advisory Committee. And then Ms. Salazar will join me on the Safety Committee. That way we're keeping only 2 members on each committee. So again, we're not having quorum in those committee meetings. Would that be agreeable to you to serve on the Legislative Committee?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions at this time about the committees?
No.
All right. Immediately following those committees, you will see that there are a couple of pages of board responsibilities and powers. And that's just to remind everybody what the roles are, and that's just for your reference that you can look over at your convenience. At this time, I believe we get to move to presentations, sir.
Excellent. Our first presentation tonight is very similar to the presentation we had last 2 weeks ago. The state office for the Career and Technical Leadership Project pays out stipends to their chapters, their CTSO chapters that have good standing, good membership, they paid their dues, they have participated in activities and leadership and career development activities. And so tonight, it is my honor that we have our advisor from the Laguna Acoma HOSA chapter, Student Association. Miss Stephanie Ramsey. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the floor over to Miss Ramsey.
I was very fortunate. Two of our students showed up with us. So, I would like you guys to consider approval for the donation amount of $1,428.56 for the New Mexico Career Technical Leadership Project to be approved for us to spend on official HOSA attire for our students when they attend state to look the professional part. Our students, when we attended regionals, we noticed that want to make sure that when our kids go to these competitions, that they also feel, that they can compete at that professional level.
Excellent.
The state office pays these out. And again, it's because they have a good chapter, they have a good program, they're in good standing. And how many members do you have, Ms. Ramsey?
We have 17 at the moment. We took 8 to state, and 6 did qualify we took 8 to regionals and 6 did qualify for state.
So they'll be going on to state next month?
in April. With some competing in some really great competitions. We have two competing in phlebotomy, one completing in, clinical nursing, some in medical terminology, medical math, and one competing in sports medicine. So these kids are getting actual hands-on skills with medical equipment, medical, advisors are there to instruct us. And I think it's a great program for our future medical students.
Excellent.
This is the first year that they've had a chapter, or have gone to
Well, we
competitions.
chapter last year, but it wasn't, I was new. And so this is the first year our chapter has actually competed and actually have, worked on growth, worked on accomplishments, worked on getting these students prepared for state.
Excellent. So board members, we have consideration of approval for a donation in the amount of $1,428.56 from New Mexico Career Technical Leadership Project. Superintendent?
I recommend that we approve this donation.
Excellent. Board members, is there a motion to approve the donation?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Eeny, meeny, miny. I'll give it to Monica at Walter's suggestion. All right. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve the donation in the amount of $1,428.56 from New Mexico Career Technical Leadership Project to our Laguna Acoma HOSA program. Any discussion, board members?
It's a comment. Good job. That's a lot of different fields that you're qualifying in.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Mrs. Turley, roll call, ma'am.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Honey?
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo? Yes. Ms. Salazar? Yes. Ms. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you so much. We'll look forward to hearing good things. Mr. Widener, item B, sir.
Our second presentation tonight is an annual presentation, and we start these presentations in February. We invite our principals from our high schools to come and talk about the graduation cohorts. It's an exciting time it's an exciting time for students, for seniors at high school, because they're on the downhill and they're about to graduate. And it's a sad time for parents, but our principals our administrators watch very closely to see how our students are doing and if they're getting their assignments in, if they're getting their grades up. And so we will have several presentations this spring regarding our 2026 graduation cohort. But I would like to call our principals forward, and from the early college high school, we have Dr. Delton Martin. From Grants High School, we have Mrs. Stevie Elkins, and her assistant principals are with her tonight, Mrs. Barajas and Mr. Jaramillo. And then from Laguna Acoma High School, we have Miss Amy Ray. So principals, you can take the lead.
That teachers too, cause they hate to see the kids go, they're done.
It's true.
Really?
Some of them you're excited for them to go
Yeah.
though.
But it's like, oh man, they're gone, we're not, hopefully they make it, it's like you're throwing a bird out of a nest. Hope it flies.
Right here. Have it here with us.
President, members of the board, Superintendent Weiner. I believe this is the first time we report
It is.
graduation status for 3 high schools. I'm Dr. Martin from high school.
My name's Stevie Elkins. I am the principal at Grant High School.
And I'm Amy Ray, principal at Lagoon.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to maximize the screen or start from the beginning to show a full screen, but it doesn't seem to cooperate at this time. So for early college high school, we have currently 11 who are who are members of the cohort of 2026, and 1 that's actually an early graduate for a total of 12 graduating students. We have 0 returning life skills students.
So I have 179 true cohort 2020. Three life skills students that have already graduated who have returned and just hang out with us for the next couple of years. So a total of seniors, if you're talking about just seniors, 189 students.
That's a lot. I have 61 seniors, so proud of. And in cohort 2027, we will have 3 students. That's actually supposed to be for early graduates for next year. And we have 1 to 2. 1 is undecided if they're going to return for the life skills part, but 1 for sure. The other one is still trying to make a decision if he's gonna come back or not. We're trying to entice him to keep coming and be my office aide and be, to get into a profession and work hands-on. So I'm hoping he does, because he did a great job this year. That's how many we have.
For cohort demographics, for early college, we have the 12 graduating students. 1 of them is Laguna. Three of them is three of them are Navajo, 1 Caucasian, 6 Hispanics, and 1 Native American. Other, I believe, is left. Yeah. If I may add, because I forgot to mention a while ago, out of the 12 students that we have graduating, we actually have 2 of them completing 1 associate's degree, 5 of them completing 2 associate's degrees. So a total of 7 students completing associate's degrees, and 1 possibly completing her associate's degree in the summer. So it's a pretty good group.
That's great. My demographics for the cohort are as follows, and I did leave the early graduates and the life skills students out of that number. 22 Acoma students, 2 African American students, 27 Caucasian students, 5 Filipino students, 74 Hispanic students, 8 Laguna students, 40 Navajo students, and 1 Zuni student.
Okay, and for us, for ACMA, we have 47 Lagunas, 1 Navajo, 4 Hispanics, and 2 other Native American tribes.
Our current cohort rates. For early college high school, we have 92%, which is 11 students on track. 1 student currently doing credit recovery, that's 8%. And we don't have any possible retentions.
I currently have 152 as of today that are perfectly on track with no credit recovery. 18 students are actively working on credit recovery, and those students I anticipate will move to the on track. And then we're currently working with 9 students aggressively to kind of move forward or talk about options and that kind of stuff. So yeah, 85 with the potential of 95 when we get those students out of their credit recovery status.
And ours is about 91 to 97%, only because we too have those struggling students, a couple who are moms, but they come to school every day
And we too, we're pushing them to continue to keep coming, even if sometimes they're bringing along a little baby to be picked up by noontime. And it's just because they're almost there. And so credit recovery, we do have two of them. One skipped out on summer school last school year, but he's in there and he's making some really good progress. One possible retention, but we're working really hard with him. It's just a matter of, making sure that he's consistent, we're consistent, and that he shows up.
Demographic coordinator. For early college, high school, 100% of our Laguna students are on track. 100% of our Navajo students are also on track, same as Caucasian students. That's 100% on track. The one student that is currently doing credit recovery, but we're very sure that she'll graduate as well, is under the Hispanic demographic. 83% are on track. So 1 out of 6, which is 17%, is currently doing credit recovery.
So I'm actually gonna go from the bottom up, just because I think it would be a little bit easier. Just to talk about possible retention, because like I said, though, that middle, that yellow group, that bubble group, I do anticipate moving forward. And so I currently have 2 students that are Laguna that are on the possible retention list, 3 Navajo students, 1 Caucasian student, 2 Hispanic students, and 1 Filipino student. And again, like I mentioned, those are just aggressive every couple day conversations, calling parents, having meetings, and just making failing to be very uncomfortable and harder than it is to pass. And so we're working aggressively with those, and I'll let you kind of read the on track ones, because it might be easier for me to just talk about the retention ones.
Big screen, I need the big screen. So we have about 99% that are on track with that one kiddo that we're trying to keep moving. That is also part of our dash plan, was to be 100%. But of course, we gotta count every little gain that this kiddo is making. He's doing the best that he can with what he has, and we're gonna push him until that very end. And he could possibly be one of the life skills returnees anyway, so we just want him to finish. That's the biggest thing. Possible retention for AFMA. It looks good. We gotta keep it like that though. That's the whole goal.
So that's all the data. Can we take any questions or comments about the data? And then I would love the opportunity to kind of discuss something else with you that I've learned and picked up on the way along the way. But if anybody has any questions about the data itself, like we're more than willing to take those.
Board members, data questions?
No.
Yes, one question. One of the things that we as board members learned over, we've been, is that cohort number graduation percentage rate is different than what we have in school right now. Can you talk just very briefly about what the difference is there? Because I know we're looking at our numbers going up and up and up, but then what the state reports is different.
Yes. And that's actually what the next.
Oh, well, then we
That
can,
is
perfect.
my answer.
So you
Yeah.
can wait then
Yeah.
for the next portion if it's gonna answer. Thank
Sure.
you.
And so I have been to this board for the last 2.5 years and presenting graduation data, and same exact question, like I am presenting these high 90s, high, up close to 100%. And then the state's data comes out and it's at like 75, and I'm like, what the heck, you know, what's going on? And so, with some help from Mr. Chavez and Mrs. Griego, he kind of set the stage for this, and I decided that I was going to just get really proficient in, and still getting proficient, by no means an expert, but I wanted to understand for myself, and I think that it's a critical conversation to have for everybody, because that raw data truly is like community data and Grants New Mexico data. Like, we provide that for the people, right? And so it's not necessarily kids walking across the stage and you guys conferring those diplomas. That's not the data that the state gives that. And I've found that those two data points are telling two completely different stories. Our graduation data and this data that you saw here today is celebratory data. It's truly celebratory data. The data that the state is receiving and then the state that they're reporting back to us is all accountability data. And it's tied very little to what we see on a day-to-day basis and what the community sees and what mom and dad sees and, you know, what grandma and grandma sees. And so our most current, and I'm only going to speak for myself because, like I said, that I just did the research for myself. Grants High School's current state reported data from the last data point was 71%. Now, we can report that to the community and the community will say, oh my God, you know, you guys have a 71% graduation rate, like what's going on? Like what's going on? And it's truly, it kind of pulls the person out of it, in my opinion, and it's just looking at the kid, their location, where they end, where they start, where they move to, and it's numbers that are following that kid. And so, but just to add, the overall state graduation rate sits at about 66 to 75%. So we're sitting right there. It's not drastically lower or higher than anything. So there's two data sets, our local ceremony count, which is what we reported to you today. And that's what I've been reporting to you for a while. And then there's the state accountability graduation rate, and that's truly students who are enrolled and coded in specific ways across their 4 years. And so I've learned that graduation rates are affected by coding errors and how we exit those students when they move to a different school. How we code them at Grants High School when they move to a different school counts towards our graduation rate, or it could count, you know, if it's an error in coding, it could count against our graduation rate. And so I had no idea. So I've been kind of just checking out our withdrawal codes and our graduation codes. I've learned that a special ed student who gets a certificate of completion and not a diploma of excellence does not count towards our graduation rate. And you will see that kid walk across the stage just like everybody else, but the number does not count. Obviously GEDs don't count, height sets don't count. But when a student goes to get a GED, which happens, what counts is how we code them and how we exit them when we leave. And so I, just as an example, if I have a student and he is at Gallup High School, his freshman and his sophomore year, he's in the 40, the 80, and the 120-day count, he counts towards them. And then that student decides that he's going to go to Myra High School for his junior year, and he's in all 3 of those counts, and then decides he's going to graduate at Grants High School. His senior year, he will walk the stage. I will count him in raw data as far as graduation rate. The state will literally only give me 25% of the graduation rate for that student. Even though he graduates from Grants High School, I only get a quarter of the rate and the accountability for that student. And so that's kind of a hard concept for the community to understand. And it's hard for them to be like, oh, 70%, like I don't want my kid to go to that school. But again, and I want to anchor back and anchor back and anchor back. It's not telling the story of the instruction that's going on or the proficiency rates that's going on. It truly isn't. It's a numbers game. And so there are different completion codes in the state of New Mexico. I learned that also. Most students receive a diploma of excellence, and those are the diplomas that you guys confer at the end of the ceremony. students that get an alternative pathway diploma do count, but they only count once. And so like those returning seniors, those returning life skills kids, they truly do nothing for the graduation rate after they've graduated. Like they're hanging and they're vibing with us for the next 3-4 years, but they do nothing for that. So again, no high sets, no GEDs, no certificates. And so on a site level and on a district level, we truly want to get aggressive with completion and how kids are completing alternative ways, career pathways, CTE things. Like we want to get aggressive in them, starting with us as a freshman and finishing with us as seniors. Like truly, we want to make sure that they're not bouncing if we can avoid it. And sometimes we can avoid it, but it would help. So in practice, so a student can graduate somewhere else, Gallup High School, Highland High School, and still affect our graduation rate positively or negatively. They can leave mid-year and still affect that rate. They can never walk our stage and affect that rate. They can walk the stage and not count towards our graduation rate. So it goes both ways. And for us as leaders, it's important that we know and we're aware of those codes and the exit codes, because that's new to me and I learn something new every day. But you know, we withdraw most kids from Grants High School, at least from what I can see, on a W-2 that they're going to another district within the state. There is very, very little follow-up on if that happens, and it would almost behoove us to call and make sure, hey, you know, you exited a month ago and said you were going to Highland High School. Is that true? And if that's not true, then we need to kind of clean up that data. And from my understanding, the state provides us with an opportunity before the final reporting to clean up that data. I think that it's important, like I said, if I'm a principal, I've been here for 2.5 years. I was assistant principal prior and I was an instruction coach prior. That's brand new to me. And if it's brand new to me, it's 100% brand new to the staff and to the people who are making those coding errors, myself included. And I think you guys know, because you're a connection to the community. And I think it would be wildly helpful for the community to understand that the 71% is painting a picture for the state that is not necessarily the picture that we're painting for the community. And I always want to make sure, like, transparency is my biggest thing. If something's wrong, we're going to tell you it's wrong. And in this case, it truly is just educating ourselves, myself as a leader, the people who are inputting those codes just to get better. I think that there's a lot of cleanup that we can do that would help. But to answer your question, that's why we see a huge differentiation between the state's calculation and then the raw data that we're providing for you guys.
Excellent explanation. Thank you. Board members, questions about that?
No, that was a good explanation.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, principals. We're glad you were here to share this with us.
Mrs. Elkins, you're graduating more than your predecessor. And a lot of early graduates. Board Member, Ms. Lorenzo, we are very excited about the next part. And it's my honor to introduce you to our quality assurances coordinator. She's been working with us for 1.5 years now and has been working all on systems and policies. And you talked in your interview that you are a procedure person. And so I got really excited and excited to introduce you to Amanda. Amanda Gallegos Ortiz is going through our history as a school board, and she's looking at our policies and making sure that we got them adopted and we got them, you know, we did second reads and first reads. And so Amanda had left us for a little bit, and board, I'm really excited to tell you she is back 100%. And so Ms. Gallegos Ortiz, we are excited to have some first reads
That's
tonight.
not the one.
September.
Oh, did I pull up? It says first read, but is it, can I use it as, oh, September? Yeah, no, that's the correct.
It's January something.
This isn't the right one.
The file says that it's GCS Policy Advisory Presentation January. So we misnamed the file.
It should be the same, except first, it says it's second reads tonight.
Understood, ma'am.
Okay.
But will this,
Just kidding, they're second reads.
Binders have this.
Already did that.
I tried to open the right one. Let me see, I could look back. Second read, this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I clicked on the right one now. Take it away.
All right,
There
tonight
you
we'll
go.
be doing second reads for Policy Services Advisories, Volume 15, number 4 from September of 2018. Next slide. Policy Advisory number 164 was approved and updated on Policy Advisory 198. And it's just here for informational purposes so that we can keep the numbers on the Policy Advisory Services all together. Next slide, Policy Advisory number 165 updates GCCS policies related to students experiencing homelessness. These changes align district policy with federal McKinney-Vento Homelessness Assistance Act and New Mexico law. I just want you guys to know that we are, even though these are policy service advisories from 2018. We're updating the policies because we couldn't find any information from when they were updated, when they should have been updated. So we're going back and fixing the policies, but our practice, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, so it's just trying to update these policies. Next slide. Policy J1000 JFABD defines homelessness broadly, consistent with federal law, and emphasizes a lack of permanent housing cannot be a barrier to accessing education. The next slide, the policy now more clearly defines homelessness, which includes students living in shelters, motels, doubling up housing, or temporary arrangements. Immediate enrollment is required even if records are missing, and students have the right to remain in their school of origin when feasible. And these changes ensure homeless students are not delayed or excluded from school due to circumstances beyond their control. Next slide. J1011 JFABDR. This regulation outlines required services and clarifies responsibilities at both the district and the school level. The next slide, J1011 JFABDR. The regulation now clearly reflects federal requirements for transportation and access to services. Homeless students must be able to participate fully in school programs, including extracurricular activities without delay. The next slide, J1031 JFABDEA. This exhibit outlines the steps families may take if there is a disagreement regarding eligibility, school selection, or services under McKinney-Vento. The next slide, J1031 JFABDEA now clearly states that students must remain enrolled and receive services while disputes are being resolved. Families must receive written explanation of decisions and information on how to appeal with all of these changes. And then just so that you know, because I know the way that we do this, I will do the slides as just a summary of what it is, but if you look at the policy services advisories, you can go through and it'll tell you exactly what the changes are on the policy any regulations, and then any exhibits that we have on these. So as you're reading through these, okay? Are there any questions for me on this policy? Next, we have the metal detector policy. Again, this is a second read on this new policy. Policy establishes when and how metal detectors and wands may be used while ensuring searches are lawful, minimally invasive, and consistently applied. It provides clear direction to administrators and staff, reducing uncertainty during staff's safety situations. Next slide. This policy gives GCCS a preventative tool to help deter weapons and respond appropriately when concerns arise. It will reduce legal risk by ensuring actions are consistent and defensible. Next slide. The policy allows metal detectors to be used two primary ways: when there is a reasonable suspicion tied to a specific concern, and as an administrative search conducted in a non-discriminatory, minimally intrusive manner. And use at events such as athletic contests or graduation is also authorized when appropriate if we need. The policy places strong emphasis on dignity and fairness, and any follow-up search after a detector activation must be conducted privately and in accordance with existing district search procedures. And group screenings cannot be used to single out individuals or groups. Only trained personnel may operate metal detectors or wands, and this ensures proper use, consistency, and safety. Oversight by administration is required to ensure compliance with this policy and procedures. And students who require accommodation will be provided alternate screening methods when appropriate, and supports will be provided to ensure screenings are conducted respectfully and lawfully. Next one for visitors. Anyone refusing to submit will be denied entry or escorted off campus, and this ensures consistent enforcement and maintains campus safety. Next one. Families and the community will be informed through postings and notices, ensuring awareness and understanding of when and why metal detectors may be used. Are there any questions on this policy?
No, ma'am. Board members, any questions? Mr. Hadamio stepped out for a quick moment. As soon as he is back in, we will proceed to action.
You can talk a little, Mrs. Lee. I will make a recommendation that we approve the second reads of Policy Service Advisory Volume 15, Number 4 from September 2018, and the new Grant Cibola County Schools Metal Detector Policy. So whenever you're ready, you
Yes,
guys
I
can
will
accept my
ask.
recommendation.
Yes, sir. So I'll reiterate to stall even further. Board members, we have upon us consideration of approval of the second reads of the Policy Services Advisory Volume 15, Number 4, September 2018, and the new Grants Cibola County Schools Metal Detector Policy. They should be right there behind that. Those are the advisories. On the district website, we have, and I'll be happy to show you where that is, we have full policy services which list every policy that has been adopted by the Board of Education for the school district. And it's great because on that page, there's just a quick link and it takes you right to all of the policies. So it's very easy to navigate. Of course, my pleasure. Superintendent, thank you for your recommendation. Board members, is there a motion to approve these second reads?
Motion.
And a second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Ms. Salazar, but to approve the second reads Policy Services Advisory, Volume 15, Number 4, September 2018, and the new grant Cibola County Schools metal detector policy. Board members, any discussion on this? All right, hearing none, we shall proceed to roll call. Ms. Turley.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Hadamio?
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo? Yes. Ms. Salazar? Yes. Ms. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next up, we have the resolution for board signatory.
Resolution that we're about to discuss. We want to have systems and we want to have good systems of accountability, systems of transparency. Mr. Jones is going to present the resolution to you. It's going to be signature authority for our accounts. So, Mr. Jones.
Madam President and members of the board, the district has checking accounts. We have an investment account. In the corporate world of finance, there has been a lot of developments in technology for fraud. So calling up the bank and saying, hey, we had a new board president, new board secretary, please take care of that. Those things don't exist anymore. So the board practice, as far as I could research and go back through our local district historians, has been that the board president and the board secretary are the authorized signers. Not that that is contrary to our current policy. The current policy just states that the board in an open meeting can select authorized signers. So what the resolution would do would be action that our practice is part of policy. So that for all of our accounts, it would be Madam President and Sir Secretary for every account. So with that said, currently, just to give you a mindset in terms of how protected our accounts are, Mrs. Lee and Mr. Ortiz could not walk into Wells Fargo and get a penny. They would have to come with documentation saying what it was for, why it was there, because everything's electronic now. So there's no cash that goes over the counter from the district. Everything is paid out of our account after it has been through the whole process and after we receive goods and services.
Questions, board members, for Mr. Jones? All right, thank you, sir. Board members, we have at this time consideration of approval of a resolution for board signatory authority, and that is resolution 2026-01. And this document, as Mr. Jones just outlined, is detailing the and conditions, and then surety bonds repealer and an effective date. So that's been in our packets. At this time, Superintendent Widener, do you have a recommendation, sir?
Madam President, board members, I do recommend that we approve the signatures on the resolution for board signatory authority.
Excellent. Board members, is there a motion to approve the resolution for board signatory authority, which is resolution 2026-01?
So moved.
And a second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Jaramillo and seconded by Ms. Salazar to approve the resolution for board signatory authority, which is resolution 2026-01. Any discussion, board members? Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo?
Yes.
I don't see a Mrs.
Oh.
Turley in your contacts. Who do you want to call?
Why don't you? She calls me all the time. Miss Lorenzo?
I wonder why Siri thought that that
Miss
was
Salazar?
appropriate. My apologies, everyone.
Miss Lee?
The motion carries. Oh, we needed a comedy relief for a moment there, didn't we? The motion carries. Thank you all very much.
Our last presentation tonight is also going to be Mr. Jones. He's going to be talking to us about our Mercata intrusion and blind spot cameras. Continuing, this continues along with keeping our schools safe, keeping our kids safe, our staff safe. And so, Mr. Jones.
Madam President, members of the board, this is something that has much history. I'll catch the new board members up just really quickly. In the last year, the district has expended close to $2 million safety at our sites. So that includes access controls, which is like badging in and out of doors, in addition to cameras, hallways, vape detectors, those sorts of things. We also recently just partnered with a company that does weapons detection. So part of getting the cameras installed and the access controls, we have found some blind spots. We have found spots that we've said, you know, it'd be really nice to have a camera here. We should add this door here, that kind of stuff. So in your packet, you have a quote for $114,849.21. Those are our blind spots and additional access control that we would like to add. And this is not specific to one site. There's one door at Los Alamitos. I think there's one at Grand Side. I think we're still doing that. So, and that's all broken up in here as well. I'll provide some clarification as well, and this relates directly to the consent agenda in the bar. Over the last year, PSCOC and PSFA through House Bill 450 have granted school districts money specifically for security and safety improvements, CTE facilities, and maintenance of facilities. So our original project was funded through our capital bond. This addition will be funded through House Bill 450 using our money in the 31200 account. If you look at the second quote now, this is you'll notice that there's only 9 sites that are included. The 9 sites are the 9 sites that aren't New Mesa View because that was included as part of its capital budget, and the early college high school because they're on a different campus. It's a building that we leased from New Mexico State and it's not ours. That's the reason for 9. This is an intrusion system that will secure all of our assets from sundown to sunup. So this would be the typical, we're gonna lock a building when we leave, it's gonna be armed, and then the cameras act as motion detectors so that if we do have break-ins, it will notify law enforcement directly. It will also give our local security the ability to see where the people are in the building. The system includes a speaker, and it's integrated with all this technology. So if I was to go break into one of the schools, it would say, the 30-year-old chubby guy, law enforcement is coming to get you. Please leave the premises. So it's kind of cool like that, because if you had somebody that was in crisis as well, you can over them and you could say, hey, I noticed you're trying to get into the school. Do you need help? What can we do there? So that's kind of the path with that. The last thing that I'll add is that it also adds a panic button in the front office of every building. So if you had an individual that was inebriated, somebody that was not supposed to be on school premises, those sorts of things, you keep the door locked, you hit the button. And the reason for that is if you can hit a silent panic button, usually you can talk to somebody long enough for law enforcement to get there. Where if you get all crazy and say, I'm gonna go call the cops, they're gonna get crazy too. So that's kind of the reason for that. And this would also be funded with the House Bill 450 money.
Thank you. Board members, questions for Mr. Jones? Excellent. All right, board members. At this time, we have consideration of approval for Verkada intrusion and blind spot cameras. Superintendent Widener, do you have a recommendation, sir?
Yes. Mr. Jones, the camera adds 10 pounds.
I've heard that.
Board members, we have two quotes, one in the amount of $114,353.21. And the second quote is for $334,001.06. I recommend that we do utilize our House Bill funds for this expenditures and increase our technologies for safety at schools.
Thank you. So, Mr. Jones, I'm gonna ask for clarification because the amount that I had for the blind spot was 114 and then $849.21. Is that the correct one, or is what Mr. Widener just said the correct amount?
It could be that I didn't have my glasses on.
What you said is correct.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that clarification.
Sorry.
We were in agreement on the big one. I just was making sure. Thank you for the recommendation. So, board members, is there a motion to approve the Verkada intrusion, which is $334,001.06, and the Verkada blind spot cameras in the amount of $114,849.21. Thank you. And a second? I'll second. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Mrs. Lee to approve the Verkada intrusion and blind spot cameras with their respective amounts as previously stated. Any discussion, board members? Very good. Hearing none, we shall proceed to a roll call. Mrs. Turley, please.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Hadamio?
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo? Ms. Salazar? Ms. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. Next up, we have consent agenda, which is consideration of approval of one bar, and that is bar 0880025260008-I, General Fund Capital Outlay Debt Service, which is 31200 Public School Capital Outlay, 54,320 technology related repairs and maintenance. Superintendent.
Board members, because a number of you are newer to the board, I will explain what a BAR is. It's a budget adjustment request. Our annual budget is built for the year. And we're starting to build the budget for next year now, but when we build the budget, we put money in certain accounts. And so you have to do a budget adjustment request so you can move money into the right place so you can utilize it and pay the bills. So and our consent agenda is usually it's a no-brainer. It's you don't have to think are we gonna pay the bills? Are we gonna fix our budget and make sure it's correct? And so I recommend that we do approve the consent agenda for tonight.
Very good. Board members, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed?
So move.
Thank you. In a second,
Second.
I'm gonna give it to the louder one over here. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Mr. Hadamio to approve the consent agenda as listed, including the bar. We shall proceed now to a roll call. Mrs. Turley, please.
Watson,
Yes.
Mr. Ottermilk,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo. Yes. Ms. Salazar.
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. Superintendent, it is all you, sir.
My report.
It's your show, sir.
Awesome. I'll start with item A and B. A, before the meeting, we had a little walkthrough tour of the new Mesa View campus, the new Mesa View School. And, are anticipating that the building will be finished in May, will be ready to open in August with students. Mr. Jones has been working very diligently on a request for proposals for furniture for the new school. And so what we have to do with the RFP, we put that out to furniture distributors, furniture company, school furniture companies, and we have them bid the job of furnishing Mesa View. And so Mr. Jones released the RFP last week, Mr. Jones?
The RFP for Mesa View Furniture is currently in the hands of PSFA.
Perfect.
So because it's a joint funded project, they have to make sure that we're in line with their vision for what we're asking for, which is great, because even today when we walked through, we start counting classrooms and thinking, oh, maybe we need to have special chairs in the band room, and maybe we need to add a few tables here and there, that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
To get the furniture and get the school. So the second one, to our senior board members, experienced board members, annually, you guys have been on the board, we've talked about our food services contractor. We're currently contracted with a food services company, and we have passed the contract annually, right? At this time, it is time for us to have a new request for proposals for food services providers. And so Mr. Jones has been working on an RFP for food services. Basically, that's all of the school breakfasts and school lunches and school snacks and what we have in the schools. And so, Mr. Jones, do you want to give us input on that?
Yeah, happy to. So a similar process, because our student nutrition fund is based on claims that we make on those that we serve. All of that information, including payroll, what we're paying our cafeteria staff, and then all of the sites, whether that food is being cooked on site or transported like it is at the early college high school, all of that has to be reviewed by PED as well before we publish, and it's there. So PED is going to review it and give us the okay. We will hold in-person evaluation where we'll form a committee and allow students, parents, faculty to come and kind of taste and see what these providers have to offer. So that's that.
Superintendent, may I ask Mr. Jones a question?
Yes.
What about concessions for games and stuff like that? Will that be built in as well? Because I know that was a topic last.
It will not.
Okay.
So, permission to speak freely. The concessions need help primarily because the person that's doing the concessions is also doing all of the student nutrition and our transportation. So hypothetical, if you're working on a Friday in October and it's homecoming, you're making sure the buses are running at 5 a.m. and then you get to go serve food until 10 o'clock at night. We've spread her too thin. So we have discussed potentially adding a part-time employee that could support concessions across the district to make sure that we're ordering and we're consistent. Consistency with the district ran concessions also provide student clubs and activities the ability to provide food that is not competitive with what the school district is offering. So if the school district always has nachos and Frito pies and Skittles and Snickers and all that kind of stuff, a student organization can set up shop and sell muffins and cupcakes and banana bread and that kind of stuff. So that gives them the avenue to fundraise. It also gives us the ability to be consistent where nachos are $3 at Grants High School, Los Alamitos, and Laguna Acoma High School. Because in the past, and what we are in the process of doing with standardizing that, it would be hot dogs are better at Lambs and nachos are better at Grants High, and they're bigger here. And maybe it's Mrs. Patel and she's running it. They're really good and really awesome. And then the next week they have somebody like me where I'm like, nachos are nachos, you know, and they're really skimpy and twice the price. So we're really just trying to give as much of that to the students. I mean, we don't make any money on concessions. We basically cover the cost of the food and push everything else that we can to the site that's hosting the stand.
Thank you for that clarification. I just didn't
And
know
I think
that.
as you guys can tell, our students are doing things and they need fundraising. And so we want the kids to be able to reap the benefits of the concession funds. And so
Thank you, thank you.
And I like the
Mr.
idea
Jones.
that you'll let them, you'll just sell one product and then those clubs can say, well, let's sell Frito pies or let's sell snow cone or whatever.
was a good question.
Yeah.
I hinted to a little bit ago when I was talking about our budget adjustment request. Annually, we have to build the budget for the school district. And Mr. Jones and the folks in the business office work as a fine machine to build that budget. So much of our budget goes to employee salaries and benefits and the folks that our people resources that are in the district. We also use our funds for food services, and so we have lots of different funds that go into. I have shared with you a budget timeline in your packets. Right now, there's lots of talk in Santa Fe. There's a lot of, you know, that the state is setting their budget and they're allocating funds to certain, you know, school aspects and certain departments and things. And so right now we're waiting, we're all watching the legislature. We're watching it closely to see what's gonna happen. Next month, Mr. Jones has a really good UPC code that he shares. He has stakeholder meetings. He'll be in our communities, you know, and with the excess curriculum, you've got the instruction, you've got, you know, and then you've got this much of the budget left. What should we use that for? Do we want to focus on, you know, athletics? Do we want to focus on school lunches? You know, and so Mr. Jones will be meeting with the stakeholders to kind of get the priorities as to where we should use the funds of our budget. And then in mid-March during spring break, they will hold the annual spring budget workshop. And what that is that's where they release the amounts of what the unit value is. And so Mr. Arnold and his team will come back with that information. They'll go to the spring budget workshop and they'll find out this is how much money you get for curriculum and this is how much money your unit value is. And so they have to come back and calculate all of that into their budget and actually be rather frugal while building the budget. And then our goal is to have the budget to you all as a board. We will present the budget in April, and then it goes to the public education department as soon as possible Last year, we had it in the first week of May. And so that's kind of how the budget works, and then everything goes live on July 1st, and your funds are in your accounts, and so that's where you sometimes have to move money, because we anticipated that we needed this money in utilities, and then we're not paying as much in utilities, and so that's why sometimes you have to do budget adjustment requests, but that's the ongoing budget timeline. The next two items in my report really go together. Board members that have been around for a while, we've talked a lot about the strategic plan. We had a 5-year strategic plan that expired in June of 2025. And so it was from 2020 to 2025. And we have talked a lot about what the strategic plan needs to be, who owns it. I've brought in different consultants to talk to about how to build the next strategic plan. And I'm very excited to tell you guys that the directors and I, the executive leadership team, we have got a frame built for a strategic plan. We want to start adding some walls to that frame, and you know, really put it together. But it's exciting. We got some really good work done this weekend on the strategic plan, and looking at what the goals of our district need to be, the priorities. And this very much goes along with the criteria that you all as a board should expect of me as the superintendent. You know, if one of our goals is under instruction is to increase the graduation rate, and you guys should expect me to see that kind of thing happening. And so or make that kind of thing happen. And so I'm excited to let you know we are part of the strategic plan process. You have to take that and you have to go to your stakeholders. You have to go to your communities and make sure, you know, is this relevant? Is this what we want at San Rafael? Is this what we want at Blue Water? And so we'll be working on that. We have to make sure that our goals are realistic, that they're attainable goals, and that, you know, in the next 5 years, we can, if we want to increase math scores by 8%, you know, is that a real goal? Is that something that we can do? So, so lots of data examination, but we have made some positive strides in strategic planning. And I'd be happy to share that with you all, kind of, if you would like. And so the work came out of the SOAR conference, which and Miss Lorenzo, I was here virtually. I wasn't here in person, and I was at the SOAR conference, which is it's a quarterly conference that is put on by the Public Education Department Priority Schools Bureau, and they put a lot of leadership programs together, and we have programs for teachers, we have programs for instructional coaches, there's programs for principals, administrators, counselors. We were selected by the Secretary of Education 2 years ago to be in the SOAR program. And it has been very good for the leadership team. We go and we talk about our data. We talk about our strategic plan. They talked to me on Friday about relationships, building rapport with board members, and you know what my job should be for you all. And so SOAR is a really good program, and I think the team will agree that they got a lot out of it. We haven't gotten to debrief. We came back on Saturday afternoon, and we haven't been together as a team yet, but I think you guys agree you got a lot out of it. So that's where I was last Thursday night. And then NMACD is an association where I was the president of NMACD. It's the New Mexico Association of Career and Technical Education. I started my career as a CTE teacher. I taught welding, I taught horticulture, I taught agriculture and animal science. And so I started my career as a CTE teacher. I've been a member of NMACD all the years of my career. Our HOSA teacher, our DECA teacher, our FFA teacher, they're all members of the New Mexico Association of Career and Technical Education. We had the conference for NMACD 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And I'm no longer the president. I'm now the past president. And I told our teachers, I'm like, you guys need to be the leaders in this organization. And you know, it's a great professional organization for you guys as CTE teachers. I shared NMACD information with you. Currently in the legislature, there's not a lot of CTE funding, and career technical education is big in the state of New Mexico. Our kids go to school and learn about careers. And you saw the 2 students here tonight, you know, one of those could be a potential surgeon. One of them could be a phlebotomist, you know, and they're learning those skills in their student organization, in their career technical education classes. So I shared information with you all this week that CTE is really needing funding and wanting funding. Mr. Jaramillo was in Santa Fe last week with some of our CTE students, and you know, and we definitely hope and want the legislature to fund CTE programs because they're vital to kids and camaraderie at school. A lot of kids, that's a reason to go to school because you're learning culinary skills, or you're learning how to weld, or you're learning you're learning how to work on a car, and you know, and that gives you you're a part of something. And yes.
Can I just add one little update on that? Board members is part of NAFIS, the nationally impacted,
National Association for Federally Impacted Schools.
that one, and the National School Board Association. We get sometimes 2 or 3 emails a week regarding policies and legislative updates and whatnot. And our most recent federal information that we got is that Perkins Career and Technical Education state grants, so that's for all states, is $2.2 billion this year federally given to the states, and that includes adult education. So what Mr. Widener was sharing with us is that there isn't gonna be a whole lot, which we're a little bit disappointed in because, as Mr. Weiner just said, but that was the update that just came down.
I think, Ms. Lorenzo, I'm sorry I emailed you so much on your work email. I think yesterday I had 5 different reports on legislative stuff and stuff that's happening, and I always want to, you know, it's a short session this year, and so I want you all to be in the loop of and know what's going on in Santa Fe. We're gonna be there tomorrow. I get tomorrow.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday we'll be there. And so we'll have opportunities to advocate for our district and our kids. But I definitely want you guys to be in the loop of what bills they're looking at and how it affects schools. And so I'll continue to keep you guys in the loop and informed of the reports that I get.
Thank you, sir.
And that concludes the superintendent's report,
Very
President Lee.
good.
Busy.
All right.
Busy.
Yes, yes. Next up, we do have executive session. Discussion of limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the superintendent to update the board regarding possible employee movements, including changes, non-renewals, transfers, promotions, demotions, new positions, and/or individual qualifications. No action will be taken and only the items listed will be discussed. Board members, are there any amendments to the executive session?
No.
All right. Board members, is there a motion to move to executive session as presented? And a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Mr. Jaramillo to move to executive session as presented. We shall proceed to a roll call vote. Mrs. Turley.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Jaramillo,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Salazar, Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. The board has moved into executive session at 7:13 PM. to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically for the superintendent to update the board regarding possible employee movements, including changes, non-renewals, transfers, promotions, demotions, new positions, and or individual qualifications. No action was taken.
Camera. Is it on? There we go.
Thank you. Did you hear though?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay,
We're good then.
perfect. No action was taken and only the items listed were discussed. Board members, I will make note that Mr. Jaramillo had an emergency and left the meeting at 7:42 PM. He did have to leave us early. Is there a motion to reconvene open session as presented?
So move.
Excellent. And a second, please. Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to reconvene open session as presented. Mrs. Turley, roll call, please, ma'am.
Mr. Clausen?
Yeah.
Ms. Lorenzo? Here. Ms. Salazar? Yeah. Ms. Lee?
Aye, the motion carries. The board reconvene open session at 9:12 PM. Mr. Widener, your favorite alphabet list.
Yes, at this time, we'll talk about our future agenda items. We keep these on a list so that way they stay on the radar, so you guys always know what's coming up. So I'll just go through the list right quick. We will need to have a strategic plan work session where I'll talk to you about the strategic plan and what we're doing. We will work on the annual budget. I went over the timeline a while ago. That'll be coming to you as a board as well. I'm very excited to share with you about the GCCS policy and procedure system redesign and share that work with you in a future meeting. We'll continue having conversations about graduation status for all three high schools. We will be needing to do a superintendent evaluation in the spring, formative superintendent evaluation. And so that'll come up after your first 45 days in office. I will continue to keep you updated as to where we are with our tribal consultations and our student success conversations and tribal partnerships. I talked about the 2 RFPs that we are putting out now that are currently in the state of New Mexico's realm. We want to put those RFPs out and have you involved in the selection process. So that'll be coming to a future agenda, future board meeting. Impact aid, we can actually
Check that one off.
We can check that off. It was submitted yesterday. but
February 2nd.
I might have Mr. Valdo come and tell you about that. So we did get our impact aid application in. We are currently working with the Grants Police Department on an MOU for a school resource officer. And so we'll have a future meeting about that. We are in the middle of our math curriculum adoption. And as I mentioned, as I talked earlier about CTE, and we are looking at career pathways across the district and aligned pathways. And you saw tonight that we had some of our health occupation students here. And so we're looking at career pathways. And we'll be planning for a board retreat depending on everyone's calendars. And then finally, I'll move into announcements.
Beautiful.
Starting in 2 days, on Thursday, board members will be attending the NMSBA Board Institute in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's in conjunction with the legislature and the NMSBA. February 6th, the school district is there is closed for students. We won't have students on Friday. We will have parent-teacher conferences. And so our faculty, they're reaching out to try to get parents to come in for February 6th. The district is closed on February 16th in honor of the President's Day holiday. And then we will have our next February meeting on February 17th, 2026.
It's a busy couple weeks.
Yes,
Excellent. Sir,
I recommend that we adjourn this meeting.
beautiful. Thank you for the recommendation. Board members, is there a motion to adjourn as presented? And a second? Thank you. It has been moved by Mr. Clausen and seconded by Ms. Salazar to adjourn the meeting as presented. Mrs. Turley, roll call, ma'am.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Ms. Lorenzo,
Yes.
Ms. Salazar.
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Aye, the motion carries. The board has adjourned at 9:17 PM. Thank you very much, board members.